Yeah, exactly. Ever
And
since
we've
I got
started. Hello, everybody. I'm Brandon.
hello, hi Brandon, I'm Forrest, but you already knew that.
Exactly. So yeah, Forrest, you know what this is, right?
Yes, that is one of my favorite systems ever.
It
Not
is the original DS.
the system, but
I
one of
love it.
the systems in general.
I was playing the Ultimate Spider-Man port on this because there's a 2D Spider-Man port for the Game Boy Advance and the original DS. I think the DS Lite had like Game Boy Advance ports
Hmm.
where you could slide a Game Boy Advance game into the front
Yeah,
and just
it
play it.
it sticks out though. Like the Game Boy cartridge sticks out though.
Not really
Like,
much. It's
yeah. Well, on the DS Lite model,
Oh yeah, definitely. It sticks out on the DS Lite.
yeah,
I
and
got
that's
the original DS. I don't have to worry about that.
yeah. I love the DS though. It's
Oh, it's
such a
so good. It's such a good thing.
honestly the DS and like just the DSs in general are probably some of the best systems that like or some of well, first of all some of the best systems, but second of all, some of the systems that have the best third party support.
Oh,
Um,
totally.
like off the top of my head, like some of my favorite games from that system are third party games, like the Mega Man ZX games and the Mega Man Zero collection. Like just Kingdom Hearts 358 Days Over 2. Recoded was fun, but I wouldn't say that's a favorite. Um, but like there's just so much, and then of course it has great first party games. So, like practically all the Pokemon games that were released on the DS are top tier in my opinion.
Yeah, 100%. Like I haven't actually played this in a while, but I always keep it in my bag just in case, along with like the other chords and stuff. But yeah, that's not what we're talking about here. As the title says, we were probably going to talk about Halo, is what the title was.
Halo.
So Halo Infinite was announced, and I wanted to use that. You know, we're a few weeks late, but you're better late than never. I want to use that as an excuse to talk about Halo, which is still my favorite game franchise, despite the dumpster fire known as Halo 5.
Yep. I wouldn't say dumpster fire. I'd say disappointment.
Oh yeah, it was more of a disappointment. I'm exaggerating the whole dumpster fire thing. I still spent many hours in the arena and a few hours in Warzone, specifically Warzone Firefight.
So I know I told you about this, but when I played Halo 5, it was because Microsoft had it for free for one weekend. So I marathoned the entirety of the campaign because up to that point and still to today, that's the only main Halo game that I don't own. But at the time, I was like, okay, it's free. Doing what I haven't played yet and beaten. So I may as well. And I marathoned the entirety of the campaign in a 24, maybe a 36-hour period. And maybe that shaped my opinions on it because I had it all cramped into one or two game sessions. But also, I really don't like Warzone.
The Warzone was it was a neat concept, but like I think they even said it was like they were working on Warzone before they finalized what the new Spartan abilities would be.
Yeah,
Like if you watch the sprint, they're like, we're already pretty much done with Warzone, and they're still adding in like the thrust and the clamber.
yeah.
I'm like, that's not good. That's why the arena was fine. I absolutely love arena. Specifically, Plaza is a fantastic map, but as we all know, the rest was meh. The campaign was they made the mistake of making it where you only cared about one of the main characters, which was Buck, and that's because it's Nathan Fillion, who
Yeah,
is a god among men.
exactly. Like first things first, Nathan Fillion makes anything that he's in
He
better.
made Destiny bearable, man.
Mm, Listen, well, I know a lot of people like Destiny, and I used to like it, but I don't anymore. But Nathan Fillion could convince me to go back any day of the week.
Yeah, though his
His character is dead.
Yeah, he's dying in the next DLC, and they confirmed that he's staying dead.
You ever just hate your consumer base so much that you just kill the one thing that they actually liked about your character or your
Yeah.
characters?
Though if I'm remembering correctly, the he's called Cade 6 because it's the 6th version of that character, so he might come back as Cade 7 and like, well, we can still get the clickbait of he's dead forever and then reboot him as a technically new character with the same personality.
See them doing that because 7 is Bungie's favorite number. And like, I wish I could say that like there's no way that would happen. That's too stupid. There's no way Bungie would do something so simple.
So was the entirety of Destiny 2, though.
I see. I didn't even play it. That's how disappointed I became in the first game that I didn't even allow myself to attempt the second one. But listen, this is Bungie we're talking about, and they have a huge fascination, to say the least, with the number 7. So,
Do they? I only remember like they did 7 Halo games. There are 7 Halo rings in the Halo universe.
you okay? Well, there's that Bungie Day. You've ever heard of that?
Yes, I think.
On the 7th day of the 7th month. So the 7th of July.
Oh,
There's
yeah.
that.
That okay. That's interesting.
Yes. Let's see. That's all. There's a bunch of other stuff that I can't remember specifically off the top of my head, but Bungie loves the number 7. Like they've had playlists for in Halo 3 and maybe even Reach 2 that had to do with sevens. I think it was called like 7 on 7 or 7 on the 7th. I don't know. I don't remember. But listen, Bungie loves the number 7. I know this. I know this to be true right here in my former.
In my soul, in my heart of hearts, in my
Exactly.
heart of the cards.
Listen, you always got to believe in the heart of the cards, man, and they'll lead you where you want to go.
I haven't played Yu-Gi-Oh or watched Yu-Gi-Oh or read what's it called, Duel Monsters.
Yeah, dude.
I haven't done anything related to Yu-Gi-Oh in years.
No, literally the most recent thing I did with Yu-Gi-Oh was pick up my deck to move it off my desk. So I could clean off this thing so I can move it out tomorrow and get something else in here.
The most recent thing I did was I re-listened to the 5Ds theme song, which is just great.
I didn't. I watched. I don't want to say I watched 5Ds regularly, but it would be on when I would be waiting for the bus in the morning in middle school. So I'd put it on and I would just sit and wait. But I never was really engaged in it. But I love Yu-Gi-Oh! GX, and I know like so many people hate it, but I like it better than even the original series. And maybe that's nostalgia, but I mean,
it's a crime against humanity.
Listen, I love the elemental heroes, especially Neos. I'm a sucker.
I don't remember anything from Yu-Gi-Oh though outside of that theme song and like the characters and like Blue Eyes White Dragon.
Have I shown you the picture that I have where it's me, but I taped two Blue Eyes cards that I had over my blue eyes?
Did you by any chance post it to Instagram? Because it sounds familiar as hell.
No, I have sent it on our Discords though.
Okay, that is probably where I saw it then, because that sounds really familiar.
I'll try and find it again sometime.
It's Blue Eyes White Forest.
And listen, that neither of those descriptions are ever going to change. But back to Halo or Bungie in general, I guess. Listen, if they kill off Cade 6 but bring him back as Cade 7, like, you have called it. If it happens, like, it is June 28th, 12:37 in the morning for me.
EST, Eastern Standard Time.
Yep. Like, listen,
Which is weird that we're both in the same time zone. Aren't we like halfway across the country from each other? You're in Florida, I'm in Indiana. I don't have a map up, and I sucked at geography.
Same here. Like,
I didn't know how I passed that class. The teacher hated me. Actually, no, he didn't. He gave me a Star Wars book that I have right here.
Why he let you pass is because he wanted you out of there.
I wouldn't be surprised. He gave me this book, which is a Star Wars Guide to the Universe.
Nice.
This is the second edition.
That actually reminds me, my social studies teacher in 6th grade, we were taking like a test or something one day, and this was when I was reading the first few volumes of Dragon Ball. And
so good.
But like Dragon Ball, like
yeah, I know. I prefer Dragon Ball to Dragon Ball Z.
I grew up with Z, so I think I like it more, but I love all the design work that went into regular, like, original Dragon Ball, though. Like, Toriyama's designs for vehicles are some of my favorite out of any artist ever. Like, to me, like, his is the pinnacle of, like, sci-fi or, like, punk feeling vehicles, if that makes any sense. But, yeah, so I think we were having a test one day, and I was reading Dragon Ball, and I sat right next to my teacher. I don't know why he put me there, but he did. Like, because he chose where we sat. I think it was, like, alphabetical order or something. I don't know. But I was reading, and everyone else was, like, taking, like, their test or notes or whatever. I don't remember. But I finished and ahead of most people, so I was reading. He goes, "Hey, what are you reading there?" I'm like, "It's Dragon Ball." He was like, "Cool, man. Let me show you something." And he pulls out from his bookshelf that's literally been next to me this whole time, but I just never looked. He pulls out a volume of Naruto and hands it to me and says, "Dude, you can read this during class if you want." And I'm like, "Okay." So I put my Dragon Ball volume up in my book bag, and I just read that for the rest of. I read the volume of Naruto that he let me look at for the rest of class, and that's all I really remember about that teacher. His last name was really hard to pronounce, but I think it was like Mr. Athanasian or something like that. I don't know.
Gotcha.
I don't know what this has to do with anything. I don't know how we got on that.
Reminiscing about Yu-Gi-Oh! Turned into Dragon Ball.
Yeah, because you were saying how your social studies or geography teacher or whatever
gave me a Star Wars book.
Okay.
He wrote on the inside that Qui-Gon Jinn is a Sith Lord because we had a whole thing about how Darth Vader wouldn't happen without Qui-Gon Jinn because Qui-Gon's one of my favorite characters. And I doubt he's ever going to see this, but you're still fucking wrong.
Yeah, no, he's pretty wrong on that. I don't want to get into that. Because, I mean, it'd be a pretty quick discussion because you and I are on the same side of that.
Yeah, Qui-Gon Jinn's a great man. I kind of wish he survived past episode 1 because I really liked the character that they had, and then I went through and read like a bunch of the expanded universe stuff around that time that had Qui-Gon. I'm like, he's a cool guy.
Yeah. Cool guy. Gon Jinn.
That's don't say that. That's a lame pun.
Yeah, that I don't even know if that was like a pun or anything.
That was an attempt at a pun that failed horribly.
Yeah. I will refrain from making that one ever again.
All right, so we're going to talk about Halo, which I don't know if there are people who haven't played Halo watching this. What was your first experience with Halo?
Oh god. Okay, so
let's make you feel old. How old were you when Halo 1 came out?
I turned I was
I think I was 2 when Halo 1 came out, because that was 2003, right?
No, Halo 1 came out in 2001.
Oh shit, then I was like a few months old, depending on its release date.
I turned 4 years old the day that Halo 1 came out.
Holy crap.
So that's where I was in life when it came out, because it and I share a birthday. But I did not get to play it until sometime within the next few months because my mom's best friend lives up out of town, and we were over at her house one day, and her son that's closest in age to me is just a year older than me, and it's probably even less than a year. So him and I hung out a lot, and they had an Xbox, of course, and all I remember is us playing split screen. It was just Slayer, and it was on the map where it's on like the pillar bottom or like just some spaceship with some UNSC spaceship. So like down the middle of the map is just this chasm that you can fall into and you die. And then so you have the chasm, and then on both sides is just like I guess walls and bunch of corridors and stuff that just open up into that main area, and there's like teleporters that go from like that side all the way to that side, and that's all I really remember about that's like the earliest memory I have of Halo.
See, my first experience with Halo comes not from the games, not from the books. Can you guess where I'm going with this, Forrest?
Was it from the Halo Legends?
It's my first experience with Halo is this little web series known as Red versus Blue.
Buh. You should
My older cousin showed me Red versus Blue. I thought it was hilarious, and then later that year, I think, I got to play Halo Reach, which was my first FPS on the Xbox.
God,
I played maybe a few others on like the PS2, like Dark Watch. I'd played some other shooters like Battlefront 2, which I always played in third person mode because playing split screen with first person on Battlefront 2, you couldn't see your arms and it was just weird.
Yeah, it was weird, but also
Dark Watch was the main one I played though, which was a vampire cowboy game.
I think I remember seeing that game, but I never got around to actually playing it.
It's fine. I don't remember much of the story. I know me and my friend Jordan once stayed up all night when I went to his house and we played through the entire campaign or story mode. It was great.
You stay at a friend's house.
Also I played Red Dead Revolver, which is still a fantastic game, and damn you, Rockstar, for wanting to push that game under the rug. It's not Red Dead 2 that you're coming out with. It's technically the third one.
I'm going to go on a quick 5-second tangent. I hate that they called it Red Dead Redemption 2. It should have kept up with the naming convention. So you got Revolver, Redemption, make it like Revolution or Revenge.
Yeah.
Something, or just anything besides just Redemption 2.
But they gotta get that name in there, man, because Red Dead Redemption sold way more than Revolver did.
Yes, but like it would sell now because it has Red Dead.
Yeah, don't. It's like GTA isn't like GTA is just sold because it has the name GTA in there, not because of like a specific one of their subtitles.
Yeah, like the next GTA doesn't sell because it has a 5 or San Andreas in it. Like no, it's selling because it has GTA. Red Dead will now sell as a series because it has Red Dead in it. Like to
it's
me,
like how Batman games will sell not because they have Arkham in it, but because they have Batman.
Exactly. Like to me,
or like Marvel movies.
Yeah,
Marvel.
Yeah, like to me, the Red Dead brand is recognizable to me because of the Red Dead part. Like it rhymes.
Yeah.
Remember, and adding on a cool R word after that is what sells it for me. But that's it. Like Red Dead something.
Something is my new favorite word.
Something. It's like resuscitating.
That's what it should be called. That's what we need to make it. Red Dead something.
Something. Dude, I wanted to be a game designer when I was younger.
And now you're a musician.
Yes. Well, I mean, I was a musician at the time too, but now I'm in the process of doing music for a career.
But now you've spent way more time instead of game designing, learning how to use your tongue and hands.
Yep.
I wanted to make that as sexual as possible. I'm not sure if I succeeded.
Yeah, I knew what you were going for.
Exactly. Things you could do with those hands.
So, Halo.
Yeah, Halo. Also another one that's not going to be sold based on its subtitle, because the only one that has a subtitle is Halo 5 and now Halo Infinite.
Yep, and I don't think Halo 5 sold that well, if I remember correctly.
Nor do I, because Bungie left. There were a lot of people who didn't like the fact that Halo 4 was way more lore based, like based on like the books and extended material than the previous ones, because the previous ones were fairly separate from the books.
Yeah.
But the Didact is like a character of like his own trilogy about him in the book series, and all that shit's been talked about and ranted about and jizzed all over in the books.
You have such a way with words.
Yes, I do.
But no, what I want to talk about real quick is you said Halo Reach was your first, like, one that you actually played?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
God. Dude, what was that? 2010?
I think.
Hold up. I need to check.
I have the actually my friend gave me the gamer fucking guide, like the big thick hardcover guide to it. It's like a big ass dictionary, and it's great.
Nice.
It's the only game I have the game guide to.
Rad. So September 14th, 2010. Now,
this was maybe a month or maybe like half a year after that.
My goodness.
So
it's
2011.
Early to mid 2011 is when you first played a Halo game.
For context, I moved up with my aunt and uncle after reasons, and before that, I didn't even have a solid internet connection. Like the DS, the DS is about as advanced as my technology got. Most of my entertainment came from
I get that.
Family Guy on TV and books.
Yeah, I get that. But so let me just try and think of this timeline here. I played Halo within maybe even days of its release, up to some point within a year. So sometime within a year of its release, I played it.
I mean, it was 10 years after, man.
And so that'd be 2001 at the earliest, mid 2002 at the latest.
You were a Halo fan a whole decade before me, buddy. Does that make you feel old?
A little bit, to be honest. Especially with how much you love the series now. It kind of just throws me for a loop that you didn't even touch a Halo game until
8 years ago.
Years ago, which is almost a decade. And then just go 8 years before that, 8 years ago from right now. So we go from now back to 2010 or 2011, and then we go 8 back from that, and that's when I started playing. And the thing is, I never owned an Xbox, and I didn't even own an Xbox 360 until 2008, I think. But I always played Halo throughout that time on a regular basis, though, whether it was me going up to that one friend's house in Panama City or playing at my best friend Brady's house. That's where I first played Halo 3. I can't remember where I first played Halo 2. I think it was at my sister's friend's house.
You never forget your first time, man.
So the thing with Halo, though, is that to me, it's been a part of the entirety of my life that I can remember. So it's all just there as a blur up until I owned it for myself. And then things become a lot more definitive on where I got them, where I first heard about these announcements for these games coming up. I remember the announcement for Halo 3 Recon and Halo Reach. And then things become a lot.
Okay, yeah, we're still streaming. My video feed cut out for a second on my phone. I'm very confused.
It says live up in the corner.
Yeah, okay. Okay, yep.
Like Xbox
So
Live,
my question is, what's the first Halo game that you owned?
Halo 3, and I was in 5th grade, I think. So, oh god, I'm not even gonna do the math on that for the timeline, but I'm pretty sure I was in 5th grade. I got an Xbox 360 Elite, which I still have. It's actually the only Xbox model that I've personally ever owned. My sister got an Xbox 360 Slim when those started coming out, so she had a better model Xbox than me, but I never upgraded. I kept with my Elite, even though I went through 2 red rings of death, like on two separate occasions of red rings, and it barely runs now anymore. Like the disc tray won't open. It just is so slow.
It's very similar to that PS3 right there.
Uh,
The disc tray doesn't work, everything else does. So all the games I have on this are the ones I downloaded through the PlayStation Store.
that's kind of sad. Just think
Yeah.
about the degradation of our consoles. But yeah, so I got this.
Forget you, buddy.
I, nice. I got this 360 Elite in 5th grade, and it came with Fantastic Four: Rise of the Silver Surfer, the video game.
How was that game? Because I've gone to like family videos and stuff like that, and oh boy, I see that, and I'm like, what the
Okay,
fuck?
so the thing is, I was so excited for finally being able to own Halo that I didn't even play. I didn't even take that Fantastic Four game out of the wrapping, like the clear plastic wrapping that was
Mhm.
over it. Like I never took that off. No one in my family ever did. No one ever played it. I didn't play it.
But you can say it's still in that wrapping to this day.
I don't know if I can necessarily say that because I got rid of it because I never played it. I never touched the game except for putting it up in the cabinet once and then taking it out to take it away to GameStop or something, or the play and trade that we used to have. Like whichever store it was, I took it in and got rid of it because it was taking up space and we didn't need it. I didn't need it. I had no attachment to it. Like, yes, it was technically the first Xbox 360 game I owned, but that would immediately be overshadowed 2 days later after I got that Xbox 360 by me finally owning Halo 3. And this was sometime in 2008, I'm pretty sure, because Halo 3 was still really popular. Like, extremely so. Like, it was still the big thing
It's still
in
popular to an extent.
to an extent, indeed. It was the juggernaut of the gaming industry at the time. Even compared to Call of Duty 4, I'd say I had my friends more talking about Halo 3, and I met more people playing Halo 3 and talking about Halo than I ever did about Call of Duty, especially at
Yeah.
the time, even though Call of Duty blew up at that time. But yeah, so I get the 360 Elite on Sunday, and then 2 days later on Tuesday, we got me Halo 3.
Day release. The question is, did you go to one of the release parties? Because I was
Mm,
going through old videos from Ready Up Live, and they had a video where the Green Skull went to one of those events at like 16 years old and was interviewed by like a local news station because he runs a Halo website.
yep. No, so this was at some point after this was probably a solid 6 months to a year after the release of Halo 3.
Oh,
Not my
gotcha.
So I'd played it before a little bit, like I said, at my friend Brady's house, but I was not there for the initial release, but
Okay.
I was there. I was there before the first map pack. If that's any,
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. It's
I
when you said Tuesday, it's like comic books release on Wednesdays, movies drop on Fridays, games drop on Tuesdays.
up on Tuesdays, but now it's just pretty much any day of the week except for Wednesdays.
Yeah, because that's comic book day, god damn it.
Yep.
Don't you
And
dare fringe on my comic books, you goddamn game industry.
you,
I need my Batman.
they'll do it anyways. You know that. Why not
You
release
see
comic book games?
Batman's getting married next week.
Yep. But that's not what this podcast is
Yeah,
about.
that's not. We could probably rant for hours about that. Isn't he tangent? Because I was watching last episode of Back Issues.
I
This
haven't.
tangents galore. Is Batman still technically married to Talia?
No.
Okay, did they get rid of that?
I'm going to assume that it never technically
Oh,
happened.
New 52, Rebirth. Shit.
Yeah.
But it's weird because isn't Rebirth like it's technically the same world as pre-New 52?
Technically, but at the same time, it's totally not. Because if it was, like, then it would heavily contradict things in the New 52. But now it's not even the same world because of Superman Reborn.
Wow.
But that's a tangent all onto its own.
Yeah. Comic books. We could probably just do a whole thing. It's like, here's how comic books work. Here's how this industry exists. It's confusing as fuck.
Listen, the comic book industry, I'm convinced, is more screwed than the gaming industry half the time.
I thought you were going to do like the comparison I've always heard to a game franchise I've never played, where it's comic books are like Kingdom Hearts. Trying to understand that continuity.
Fair enough, but I don't want to get okay. I'll do a quick tangent about Kingdom Hearts. I just pre-ordered Kingdom Hearts 3's Deluxe Edition right before getting on to this call with you. So that's pretty nice. I'm pretty excited that comes out the end of January, and it cannot come soon enough. Well, it could have, but they pushed it back. Because apparently
because fuck you, Forrest, that's why. There's like, this guy named Forrest, fuck him.
And all of his friends who have been waiting for this just as long as he has, maybe even longer, but no. But no, they were gonna put it on release in I think fall. But apparently their marketing team was doing research on video game sales, especially worldwide, because they wanted to have all versions of the game release around the same time frame as possible. So have the Japanese version be released in maybe early November, then have all the other regions have theirs released in mid to late November, something like that. And their marketing team was doing research on game sales during then, and apparently they were like, yeah, we're worried that Kingdom Hearts 3 won't sell during that season. So we suggest that you push back the release date to the first quarter of next year, because
isn't Kingdom Hearts one of the biggest game franchises?
Yes, and people have been waiting so long for this that literally all the info that we have now has just skyrocketed interest if there wasn't any in someone before who was originally anticipating the game but fell off the radar or whatever because the game took forever to come out. But this game is going to sell similar numbers no matter what month it's released in.
Yeah.
Between a 3-month time frame. It could be released in October, and I would bet all the money I have in my bank account right now that it would sell similar numbers to its actual release date. It has brand recognition and name recognition, and it has a fan base that will literally buy entire new consoles to play the newest entry. You don't series that. Yeah, I honestly cannot say that I've experienced any other series that has that kind of drawing power for it. Yes, there is the concept of console sellers like Halo 1, Halo 2, Halo 3, Gears,
Uncharted, Last of Us.
Exactly. Those are reasons to buy consoles, but those are exclusive consoles. The thing with Kingdom Hearts is that it it has spanned multiple consoles from different companies. And it's the only franchise that I can think of in the gaming industry that has done that and has managed to have people buy an entire console just for one game. I don't like talking about this much, but the only reason I bought my PSP in the first place was because Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep was on it. The main reason I decided I wanted to get a 3DS as soon as I did, even though I didn't get it in time for the Ambassador program, so I didn't get 10 free Game Boy Advance games and SNES games or whatever, but I still decided from an early point to buy a 3DS because I knew that a Kingdom Hearts game was going to be on it. When I was making the decision between getting an Xbox One or a PS4 for this console generation around 2013, 14, or 15, I can't remember which year.
13, I think.
Yeah, I think so too. I think I waited a year on it though.
Wait, 14.
So,
because that's when Halo 4 released, and Halo 4 was both 360 and Xbox One.
Yep. No, it was not.
Yes, it was.
It was 360.
Bitch, I know for a fact that it was on the Xbox One. 1 second.
I'm skeptical about this, but I'll continue with...
Okay, yeah, no, there's no way. Okay, you're right. It was a 360 exclusive.
Right. Thumbs, this guy. Who's about to continue his rant? This guy.
That guy.
Yeah, oh god, where was I?
I only bought these consoles for Kingdom Hearts.
Yes. When I was deciding between an Xbox One and a PS4 a few years ago, at the beginning of this console generation, I was looking even then what the dealio on Kingdom Hearts 3 was and if it was going to be multi-platform or not. And when they first put out that reveal trailer, it was either the first trailer or the second trailer that they put out. It had an Xbox One on it, like in the logos with all the systems that it would be on, and that just solidified my decision to be more than happy that I chose the Xbox at the time, because I didn't feel like I was missing out on anything important to me personally. Did I miss out? Yes, especially with the lack of exclusives that made getting an Xbox worth it before in the previous generation.
Yeah. You missed Uncharted, man.
Uncharted
4. Beautiful game. I don't own a PS4, but I love Uncharted.
I know. It looks pretty good, I'm not gonna lie, but I missed out.
Northman.
The thing I'm most upset about on missing out was Bloodborne and Nier Automata, but thankfully Nier's coming to Xbox literally right now, and I don't have it yet because I don't have the money.
I will play it eventually, probably, maybe.
I love it. I played it at my friend's house, at my friend Ethan's house, and I love it. Like I love so much things like Platinum Games. Like they know how to make a good action game. But that's not the point of this, and that's not the point of the tangent that I'm on. Kingdom Hearts has a selling power that no other franchise does, I believe. And now, wrapping that up, back to Halo.
I will point out the tangents are fine because the title was literally talking with Forrest about Halo, probably.
Cool.
Because last time we tried talking about Moon Knight, we went for like half of it was me trying to convince you to listen to Hamilton, which I don't think you've done it yet.
Oh, I'm horrible at doing things that other people tell me to do.
Do it. Do it.
Dude, I haven't even finished season 1 of Punisher yet.
What? That's been out for like...
It's been out for
Christmas.
It's been out for a year around this point.
How about Jessica Jones season 2?
Nope. I have not watched anything out of order with those series. I've watched them all in order, so I need to finish Punisher and
Luke Cage dropped last week somehow.
Really need to finish these other 2 seasons, because from what you guys have been saying, from what I've been hearing everywhere else, like Luke Cage season 2 sounds really good, even though I haven't seen any spoilers or anything. Everyone's just saying like how good it is, and I'm like, man, I need to be a part of this.
You know why you haven't seen any spoilers for it? Because nobody knew it dropped. Even like the people who were like most hyped for Luke Cage didn't realize it dropped till like 3 days after.
That's really sad.
Who
The
the
most
fuck is
marketing I saw for Luke Cage season 2 was the fact that it was in a Netflix ad in I think in Mark Miller's and Olivier Coipel's new comic, I think the Magic Order or the Black Order, I can't remember what it's called. The something order, but it had an ad in there for Luke Cage season 2, and that's about it. That's all I remember.
Yeah. I didn't realize it was out until Troy was like, "Oh my god, it's so much better than season 1." And I'm like, "What? It dropped?" And then Mac was like, "Yeah, it dropped like 2 days ago."
Oh, oops.
And I started watching it. I have enjoyed like the 2 episodes I've seen so far. Apparently it's much better than season 1 because season 1 was fantastic up until like episode 6 where they dropped the ball.
Yeah, but the thing that I'm sad about with season 2 is that it doesn't have Mahershala Ali playing Cottonmouth, which is
Yeah,
my
Cottonmouth was great.
favorite season 1.
Cottonmouth was pretty great. He was a fun villain, and then once they killed him, it's like it went pretty downhill from there.
So upset with that too because it felt so early. Like it felt like he literally should have had the full season,
Yeah,
but they were like, nope, boom,
half a
push,
season for you, buddy old pal.
and it's like, what a waste. Especially with such a good actor like Mahershala Ali. Like he's so good. And like he sold like he's part of the reason why I wanted to pick up and start reading Luke Cage comics. I
Yeah,
haven't done it yet, but I have an interest in that like
character.
characters now though because of his acting for the role that he did. Like I just such a waste that they didn't get
You
him
know
for
what I'm waiting for? My fucking Daredevil season 3. Where is it?
Born Again. Come on, give it to me.
Yeah, give me my goddamn porn again. Also, that's like the show that's going to relies the most on Defenders because there were people who was like, yeah, Defenders has like an effect throughout all the other shows, and I'm like, Daredevil and maybe Iron Fist are the only ones who are going to be really affected. The most that they do is in Luke Cage. They do reference Matt Murdock a shit ton.
All right. Well, I mean, they were referencing him a bunch in I think even season 1 of Jessica Jones, and
No, he got referenced. He was referenced once by Claire when she was like, "You don't have to do this alone. I know like some other guy who's like has abilities." And Jessica Jones like, "Fuck you, get the hell out of here."
I'm. But dude, we're so bad at staying on topic.
Yeah, I noticed. This is why I feel the conversation is going to be the best show that I do because there's no topic. That's the whole reason why I did that show. It's like, I can't stay on topic ever. What if I just had a show where that was the point?
Is to let's make a new game that's kind of like the quiet game. Instead of saying quiet, you have to try and stay on topic. Dude, I'm bad at it as well. But no,
We should just get a swear jar. It's called the tangent jar.
oh my god, I would actually really like that. Oh, so Forrest, how many tangents did you go on today?
Let's check the jar.
$15
worth. It's 10 tangents. I don't know what the fuck the math involved with that is. Anyway, Halo. What do you want for Halo Infinite? God damn it.
I want. I don't. Okay. I want it to. How do I want to word this? I want Halo Infinite to be made in a style of game that is not common in the gaming industry today, and that is a game that is released complete.
No extra DLC except for maybe a few map packs.
Listen, I can deal with planned map packs that are spread out across a couple months time, but don't have that first map pack release within 3 months of the game's initial release because that just makes it seem like you were holding back content from the beginning. Now, first things first, I want a game that is complete on release, that has a full campaign.
That means Slayer, all of the multiplayer modes you intend to put in the game Forge better be there this time, because Forge is one of the most active Halo communities outside of like the MLG community, as far as I know.
Yes. So yeah, have a full campaign with full story, full multiplayer component. Don't add on anything else for 3 months at least from the game's release. And if you make it free, hey, that would be cool.
Don't do pre-order bonuses.
Or
at least don't do a season pass.
Don't do a season pass, no. That's something
don't. I mean by pre-order bonuses, don't make it where you only get this weapon skin or this helmet or this thing just because you pre-ordered, and if you didn't, you're fucked until we get like an Game of the Year edition.
Yeah, I mean, I'm fine with that as long as there's other ways to obtain those items within the game.
I mean things are specifically for people who pre-ordered.
Yeah, so let's say like you pre-order Halo Infinite and you get the Recon helmet for pre-ordering, and you get it right off the bat, as opposed to someone who didn't pre-order the game, but they can still get the Recon helmet by reaching a certain rank or whatever. You know, like just something like that. Like it's still there. It's just you get it earlier and without the hassle, but it doesn't change the gameplay experience for anyone.
Okay, I have a question. How do you think they should, while we're on helmets and stuff like that, customization, do you think it should be done like Halo Reach, where it's you get a currency and each item costs a certain amount, or like Halo 4, where for every level you get, you unlock a new piece of armor or a new skin or whatever? Or we're just gonna throw out Halo 5 because that's just pay us money and maybe get what you want.
Consider Halo 5 as part of this equation. I actually would like a mix between Halo 3 and Halo Reach.
I forget what Halo 3 had.
Halo 3 had a few armors straight off from the beginning. You had the Mark 6 and the CQB and
EOD, maybe?
No, you had to earn EOD.
Okay.
So I know for a fact you start off with the Mark 6 and the CQB armor, and then you have to earn everything else through either ranking up to a certain level or doing certain things within the story mode or getting certain achievements that are entirely obtainable. Now, I want to have that mixed with maybe the currency system from Reach.
Yeah.
I don't know how I would implement it, but I want, instead of you having to be a certain level to get a certain piece of armor. So let's say there's like 3 requirements to get a piece of armor. One of them is the level, one of them is a certain task you have to complete, like let's say
50 headshots.
Exactly, 50 headshots, but you get those 50 headshots and then some way before you reach that rank. The third requirement is that just you buy it and it's not super expensive. Now, I think a way to implement the buying system with the Halo Reach style currency is that the items get cheaper the closer you get to that rank where you actually unlock them. Think of it like I think it's Black Ops 2 where you had the unlock tokens when you prestiged and stuff. You had the unlock tokens where you could permanently unlock an item through like early. So let's say like you unlock like the final assault rifle that you get from normally leveling up right when you prestige and you're level 4. Oh, excuse me. I think you could do something like that. Like you can unlock it early, but you have to pay a price, and that price is going to be your currency. Now, the closer you get to that rank, the less it will cost you.
Yeah.
Because then that becomes the trade-up of, do you just reach the rank and get it unlocked for free because you already have that second task complete with 50 headshots? So, okay, yes, here's how I want it. You have task 1, which is just getting to the level, which unlocks it automatically. Task 2 is a special task you can complete to open up this option to either buy it or wait for it. And option 3 is buying it. So you have unlock, work for it, which this is very like a 3-path road here. So path 1 is just So you turn left at the road, and you just wait to unlock it by ranking up and just doing your thing. Path 2 is very, like, literally the middle path in every sense. It still has both of those other two sides on its left and its right. You can choose to do both. And then the third path is buying it, which will cost you more the further away you are from reaching that.
So your rank and the price are inversely related.
Yes, yes. So as your
one goes up, the other goes down.
price goes down, and as you get lower ranked, like, you're not going to decrease in rank, because that's stupid and something.
That's annoying, especially if you like if you say let your friend play on your account and then they're like really bad and you lose, like you go down in rank because your friend sucks at FPS games.
Pretty sure Halo Reach did that too.
I don't remember them doing that because I was not very good at the beginning and I never went down in rank.
3 did it though, because I can never get above Gunnery Sergeant rank 2, I think it was. Even though I was good and I did good most of the time, I just for some reason could never get above it, but that's not the point. So yeah, that's how I want the progression system to go, specifically with the armor, is that you either rank up and get it for free, like free meaning no in-game currency cost to you, the player. You do a task to unlock the option to buy it before you hit the rank. And then that's where the third option comes in, is where you buy it. And it's going to be more expensive the further away you are from the level goal.
All right. So now look at the customization and stuff out of the way. Obviously, I was about to ask about maps, but my first thing is like, obviously they're gonna do my favorite map, which is Blood Gulch,
or a version of it, which would be Valhalla. I don't know if you ever realized that.
I'm not a big fan of Valhalla in comparison to Blood Gulch, if I'm being honest.
I don't know which one I like more, to be honest, but the thing is, Valhalla is a spiritual successor to Blood Gulch.
So, I think every game has had a spiritual successor to Blood Gulch.
Not Blood Gulch itself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Blood Gulch, I know, Halo Reach even went as far as to have Blood Gulch be on Forge World, where you could just go to like the corner and it's just Blood Gulch without all the without the bases.
I loved the idea of Forge World. I thought that was so cool.
And it's so much better in Halo Reach outside of Halo 4 had it where it's just like a big blank open space. It's like a floating island or whatever. That's cool. I guess technically you can get more creative with that, but I liked having like you had like the hangar thing up top, you had like a small tiny island, you had like a mountain and like Blood Gulch to work with. And you had to be creative within within that world. Sure, you can't do everything because there's a giant fucking mountain in the middle of the map, but you could still get some pretty cool shit done.
Yeah. So, going back to what I went from Halo 6, so number 1 on the list is a completely packaged game from the beginning. Number 2 is a progression style that mixes Halo 3 and Halo Reaches. And then number 3 on this list for me is I don't want there to be any sort of microtransaction system. I think it's something that is ruining the game industry as a respectable place to work in, to be associated with.
Yeah.
And the concept of just shelling out money to either get items that make you better at the game, or to give you items that should be progression based, such as armor or skins or whatever. I've always been, because of when I got into online gaming, I'm very, I guess, stuck in that era for how I've believed that things should be when it comes to progression in multiplayer games, and how items and whatnot should be unlocked. It should be something that you work for, not something that is thrown at you randomly. Hope you get what you want. I don't think that system is fair to the player. In my case, it really came to a head for me in Mass Effect 3 and Overwatch on two separate occasions. Um, but needless to say, the loot box system does you want when you deserve it.
Yeah.
And it takes away what I loved about Call of Duty 4 specifically was I was so excited to get up to that rank 55 level cap because I finally got I don't even remember what the final gun is. I don't even care at this point, but like the final assault rifle, it was the STG-44 or the MP-44. It's the same gun, the Sturmgewehr. It's the same thing, but that's the final gun you unlocked, and I remember like getting to that level was something that I wanted for the entirety of my time playing multiplayer for that game up until that point. Like it gave me a clear goal and it gave me a clear item to achieve once I reached that goal. And then I go over and play Mass Effect 3 a few years later, where loot boxes are in it. And for me to get any better items or characters or weapons or anything in the Galaxy at War multiplayer section of the game, I just had to get luck of the draw and hope that I got all the N7 class characters that I wanted. Well, not shocking to anyone who's ever been bitten in the butt by loot boxes, I didn't. I didn't get the things that I wanted, even though I worked towards them for countless hours, and I shelled so much of my own money away that I I didn't even want to pick up that game to play it again after a long time because I knew I wasn't going to get what I wanted. That took the fun out of it, and from a business standpoint, that means that a player is not willing to come back and spend more time with a game in a positive manner, which means they're losing a customer, they are losing someone who can use word of mouth to spread good things about the game. They are it just loot boxes are a bad idea. Just
Yeah.
straight up. No matter how they're implemented, I believe that they take away what makes progression based multiplayer fun and exciting and rewarding. And as a game developer, you should be doing stuff that gets your players wanting to come back. And a random luck of the draw is not how you do it. You give them something that is enticing to them, that they want to achieve, and that you tell them that they can achieve it if they just work hard enough towards it or work long enough towards it. Because if you have good skill, you'll level up quickly and reach that level, and then you'll unlock it. Or you maybe you're not so good at the game, but what you do is you just keep playing and you keep trying and you get experience anyway, just not as fast as you would if you were better. But you still reach that cap and you still earn what you want and you get what you want. And then you come back playing more because you got what you wanted and you finally get the chance to use what you wanted. You know?
Yes. Yes,
Loot,
I do, boyo.
loot boxes take away that experience that and it's just something I feel is lacking in the multiplayer gaming industry. And it's part of the reason why I don't play multiplayer games much anymore.
Yeah.
You know?
You got any more points about just overall stuff?
Um
Because I want to quickly focus on the Forge aspect, because please include Forge at launch, because especially as somebody who, my favorite game is Halo Reach, one that is, I've spent countless upon countless hours in Forge across Reach 4 and 5.
that's how I was with 3.
I much prefer Reaches because it's definitely not just...
It's a much deeper system, but with Halo 3 you had to be really creative and you had to really know how to break the game in some cases.
Halo 4's was just Reaches reskinned.
That's not bad.
Yeah, it's not bad. It's a good system. Halo 5 by far had the best because it was just the most in-depth thing, and it's so good. I'd probably for like maybe a few bucks, buy just that Forge game mode from Halo
Dang.
5. Because I love the Forge because like they also addressed problems I had with it where it's if you wanted to copy and paste like a building, if you're making like a Blood Gulch map and you wanted it to be symmetrical, you'd have to copy paste things. In this, you can group together objects and label it as one object and then just copy paste it. And
Really cool.
there's just tons of weapons and like there were really cool glitches and stuff like that. People would come in. One of my favorite game modes from Halo 5 was a fan-made game mode where you're pancakes, where you are driving in warthogs that have like a piece that have like a flat circle forged into them, so you look like a giant pancake. And there were banshees that had forged attachments to the front to make them look like spatulas, and the goal is to flip you out of a pan. And it was great, and I love it. And there was a game mode where you're in a mud pit and you can't shoot anybody, and they're like pigs that have a kill field around them, so that way, and like they fly randomly through the map and you have to just jump over the pigs to survive, and it gets faster and crazier, and it's amazing.
That's wild.
I want the Forge to be there at launch because that Forge community is fantastic.
Yes, and that's part of why Halo 3 was such a success, I'd say, and so popular at the time of its release and even years after. Forge mode was something entirely...
Nobody else had that.
Yeah, like, especially on a console game, Halo just... It used to be an innovative franchise, and with Halo 4, I'd say it didn't really try to innovate much, but it did try to solidify what it had previously, and tried to throw in some new ideas for the Halo franchise itself, but not the first-person shooter genre as a whole, like the previous games had. And then Halo 5 just tried to be too much like the competition.
Like everybody else, despite the fact that people liked it because it was unique in comparison to all of the war shooters that were out at the time.
Yes, and I'm hoping that Halo 6... I'm not going to say that Halo 5's additions to the gameplay formula were bad, but there are things that I don't want to return in Halo 6.
Our thruster is one of them. I wasn't a big fan of having thrust or the... I was fine with the aim assist. I didn't like the whole, if you aim in midair, you stop falling.
Yeah, that's really lame. It really slows down the flow of combat. And the thing with Halo is that its combat is on a constant loop. And I don't know if you've noticed it, but...
It's like rock, paper, scissors, sort of, is the way I've always heard it described.
I'm pretty sure Racevic, if you've ever watched any of his stuff...
Yes, I've seen every video he's ever produced, and I love it to death.
If I'm remembering correctly, he made a video that describes exactly what I'm about to, which is probably where I got this idea for it from. But the Halo combat boils down to usually 3 systems. Shoot, grenade, reload.
Yeah.
With, like, that's your standard gameplay loop for Halo. You shoot, you toss it, then before you reload your clip to give yourself some cover, you throw a grenade, you reload, you shoot, you have to reload, so you throw a grenade, so you finish reloading, then you shoot again. It's a very simple gameplay cycle, but it's something that I feel the grenade part especially becomes practically pointless when you have so much mobility options.
Sprint, clamber. I feel clamber is fine. I was mainly because I hated having jumps I could just barely reach.
Yeah, like being able to do the mantle thing, the clamber, whatever you want to call it, that's okay. Sprinting, I'm on the fence on, because I liked it when it was used in Halo Reach.
Where it was an armor ability, especially because like it does sort of make sense that you would have it lore-wise, but I think it's as Fabian said, where it's like lore should not affect gameplay.
Yes, which like I usually agree on in most cases, but the way it was implemented in Reach, with it being an armor ability, you had to choose whether you wanted that extra mobility or if you wanted something like the drop shield.
Or the active camouflage.
Drop shield is a heavenly item, and anyone who uses it is secretly or openly a good person. Everyone who uses armor lock is a bunch of jerks,
I
and
used armor
they're
lock, man.
selfish. You are selfish,
I
I'd
use
say.
armor lock whenever I'm not playing with people I know. Like whenever I'm playing with friends, I would gladly volunteer to take drop shield first.
I always took drop shield,
But
even
typically it was either sprint or armor lock is what I went with. Usually with sprint because I got back into Halo Reach after playing a lot of Halo 4 and was so used to naturally being able to sprint. I was like, I'm just going to pick sprint over any armor ability then at this point.
I get that. But yeah, for me, it was always a split between either sprint or drop shield because I really liked healing my teammates. You know, like
You're a
it got us
healer,
to
boyo.
yeah, it got us like from a psychological perspective, it got us to traveling through the maps together. So that if we ever came upon a group of enemies or even just a lone enemy, we would take them out easier because we had more of us. Because one of us or two of us would be able to heal the group that we had if any problems should arise, or we could throw down just the drop shield as temporary cover, you know. But oh god, okay,
Bring back armor
yeah.
abilities, I guess.
So something that I don't want to be back in Halo 6 is that extra mobility, to be honest.
Yeah.
I if sprint returns, I would like for it to be something that we have to choose to have over something else that may be better for the situation. I don't want the thrusters to return because even like the melee that you got from it, where you would sprint for a little bit and then you would do the charge, that makes doing regular melees completely pointless because it's more powerful, but also it just, I don't know. Something about the combat loop for me was solidified by like whenever I would get down to the bottom of my clip, but I am knee deep in grunts or something like that, I would just start swinging away and just hitting them.
Yeah.
And like that's satisfying and it's fun. And that's something that you don't get when you have just this one move that can just kill them all super easily. And even like the franticness that you get when you run out of your ammo, but that elite that you're shooting, his shields haven't gone down yet, and he's charging at you, man. And the only thing you can do to save yourself is to start swinging. You don't get that adrenaline rush, that franticness, that intensity of the moment when you could just sprint at him for a few seconds and shoulder charge him into oblivion.
Yeah.
It takes out a lot of tension, and I don't want that loss of tension in Halo 6.
All right. So we've spoken about gameplay and customization and multiplayer, which I hope that they go back for like the older Halo 3, Halo Reach sort of style, where it's you can do sprint. That was in Halo 3, but you have to like you're going to be at a disadvantage because you don't get the other thing if you choose the sprint over drop shield or active camo or whatever.
Exactly.
Don't bring back armor lock, please. Don't do that.
Armor lock. People are selfish in the world as it is. Force them to be selfless and their video games.
Only thing should be drop shield. That's all
Listen,
you
I'm
get.
fine with
No
that.
weapons, just drop shield.
I'm fine with that. You only get to punch people inside of drop.
I play him. I'm okay. Tangent. I still hold, especially with the Mona Lisa short story that they did for Halo, and they had like a weird motion comic thing for it that was really cool. I still hold. You could do, especially if they bring back the Flood, which they already have with Halo Wars 2.
Will.
They've already done it with Halo Wars 2, and they've confirmed that that's canon and takes place like present day.
Yeah.
Not our present day in the Halo universe.
Yes.
You could easily do a Halo horror game from the point of view of a Marine or a civilian, especially because the way the books
It'd
paint
be
it,
awesome.
especially during the early Human Covenant War, the fucking elites are terrifying, and you don't get that from the point of view of a soldier or especially basically Captain America wearing an Iron Man suit. You don't get it where it's
Exactly.
like elites are terrifying because like to you as a Spartan, they're normal size, and as an ODST, they're maybe a little bit taller than you. But from the point of view of like a normal soldier or even a fucking civilian, that's terrifying. And you
They're
could easily do a
towering
horror
over
story in
you.
like New Mombasa.
Yes, and like that's something that I really liked about the Halo 4 Forward Unto Dawn live action thing that they did is that that was the first time in a while that I actually felt the fear that the Covenant should bring with them and
Yeah.
carry with them into battle.
You
Like that
don't
was
really
the
get
first
that in the
time
games. You
you
get that in the
don't.
books and in the, as you said, the live action stuff. But like the rest, like, oh, they're just like nameless aliens. But like
Yep.
they're like, especially like first, they're like elites. Like a single elite could take out like a squad of humans.
Yeah.
That's terrifying.
And then by the time you get to Halo 3, you're taking out literal hordes of enemies just by yourself.
Yeah, and then
Like,
like
no problem, depending
also
on what
like
difficulty
even
you're
to a
on.
human, grunts are terrifying if you're not a
Yeah,
Spartan.
like, like that's how it should be, is that if you're just a regular human, like you're not enhanced or you haven't gone through the rigorous training like the ODSTs have, then all of these things, even the simple grunts, should be, unless if you're like just a badass, should just terrify or at least be a challenge, you know,
He, I would do it where
mentally.
do like a horror game from the point of view of like a civilian or maybe like a trainee where I would go with do a flashback to Numa Basa like what Halo ODST was, except it's from the point of view of a civilian trying to survive and make like a horror survival game,
Yeah,
sort of like Alien Isolation, or you could do it from the point of view of like a civilian transport going between planets that lands on a planet that has like a flood spore somehow
yeah.
gets on
I
the
don't
ship.
see why you couldn't do a Dead Space style game for that.
Yeah. Or like Alien Isolation would be really cool,
Yeah,
but with flood instead of xenomorphs.
yeah. Oh, of
Or
course.
ODS,
Mhm.
or
Or,
yes,
how about flood infested xenomorphs? Just
that'd
throwing
be an
both
amazing crossover.
at it though. I mean, yes, the Halo is heavily inspired by the Alien franchise, so it'd feel more like just more of the same though,
I
instead of like
guess
crossover that breaking new grounds or bringing up
it
concepts
definitely
that
wouldn't be as scary to have a xenomorph in Halo. From when I was like, we have zombies,
yeah
we have
we have
space herpes zombies.
yeah we have zombies that literally take control of your body from you but can still retain your consciousness inside of it, so you have to see all the crap
Oh
they can
yeah, dude, that
do.
story from what the fuck was it? Was First Strike? I think it was, where it's from the point of view of a soldier who was infected by the flood.
Yeah,
Dude, that chapter was fucked up. I was like, that's just really dark and depressing. Anyway, story. Where do you want the story to go? Because they've said that they're going to do a more simpler story, and it's going to focus on the chief, which I feel is weird because this is the second. No, this is the third game in their trilogy. And
um,
if they weren't planning this and they had a clear set path, and they're changing it because of Halo 5, I feel that might leave some issues with the story at least.
I think we're going to get a story that wraps up everything that they've done so far and nothing else.
The
We're not.
Reclaimer sagas, the Reclaimer trilogy is what they've called it because it focuses on the whole idea of like the Reclaimers.
Well, I don't feel like a reclaimer.
Nor do I.
And I think that's part of the problem is what you mentioned is that they never stuck to one thing specifically. Like they were not consistent with themselves between game releases. And Halo 6 seems to be just proving it, especially if the story is going to be something a little simpler instead of more background lore heavy. Like while I think that would be a nice way to get people back in and be like, yeah, you don't have to worry about all this stuff that's going to cost you like hundreds of dollars to read about and is very time consuming. Like, we will give you a story that you only need to know what is provided in the game, just like you had to do with
Yeah.
the original trilogy, and that's okay. Um, but I don't think we're gonna get any major plot twists or resolutions or anything that aren't unexpected.
Well, I think that too, but also like as we know, Halo Infinite takes place on Zeta Halo, which is Installation 07, which for people who are fans of the lore know, that has a great connection to the precursors and the flood and ancient humanity to the point where we see ancient humanity writing on the wall at the beginning of that trailer.
Dude, I didn't even realize that. But like now that you mention that, that totally makes sense why the animals that are featured in the trailer look so much like Earth
Earth
species
animals.
animals. Because they are just they evolved along a different branch than the ones on our Earth did.
And like there's some people who are thinking where it's like maybe this one will be not necessarily open world, but like I guess more like
Ooh,
what Tomb Raider is, where it's very open and there are side things that you can do
yeah.
during it. Where it's like there are like a while you're like where it's not like you're stuck in like a map for a mission. You complete your objective, cut to black, next thing starts. But it's more like everything
Yeah.
is in this world, and like while you do have to like manually get there, and like it's not open world to the point where you're going to get lost and confused on your way to your next mission, or like
Yeah.
go to your mission and be like, oh, look at that, and follow a butterfly
I think
all the way
it's
across. Like,
I think if the game does linear style missions, they're gonna be in the style of Halo 1 and 3, I think.
yeah,
Halo 1 just generally because that game, especially on the levels where you're actually on Installation 04, those are very open levels. While they aren't densely packed, they are wide open. I think if Halo Infinite is going towards that more open feel, they're going to do something similar to that, but they're going to pack it a little denser. There's probably
yeah,
going to be more enemies and more combat encounters or combat encounters that are challenging enough to last a little longer, I would think. Or it'll go towards the style of Halo 3, where, yes, it is very open in a lot of cases, especially thinking of the missions that take place on the Ark. Um, that those are very large battlefields, but not much happening within them to warrant going all around it, if that makes sense.
yeah. But now we have the technology where we can not only have those up north, but fill them with encounters and side things. Like maybe they could do like a party system where it's like you do encounter like soldiers throughout the maps who will like
Exactly. Yeah.
follow you around if you like save them, and or like do like maybe a side quest where it's like there's like a crashed ship over there and I need something from it, go do that and I'll follow
Yeah.
you
Or
into
like
battle.
a group of Marines was deployed to do a search and destroy mission, and they got screwed up, and you have to help the remaining two survivors finish their objective or something like that.
Yeah,
Like, that's something that you could do. Now, I'm not sure what the gameplay reward for that would be,
maybe
because
you could
it's
tie it into challenges that you were saying to like unlock new armor,
yeah, yeah, that's how you could probably do it.
or because like those things would have to be optional, but if you
There would
either
have
do
to be
them,
a
you get
reason
a
to do
reward
it.
for your progression, or as I said, where it's like the more soldiers you help out, the easier it will be in combat because you will have them there to assist you.
Yeah, like they're like if you're gonna implement that side mission idea, you have to make it worth it. And I think the ideas you just proposed are the perfect way to do that. They're very clear cut. They're not underhanded. It's it's easy to understand. If you help these guys, you'll get more experience towards your rank, meaning you will either get money quicker or more money just in general, or you will level up quicker, you know? Or, foregoing that, you'll just have more allies by your side, meaning things are going to be a little bit easier next time you run into a pack of hunters, maybe, you know?
I also want brutes to come back, man. Especially because, as a lot of people point out, and we might see the return of the prophets because at the end of Halo 5, during like the mission on what the fucking, it's not the Guardian that you're on for the final mission of Halo 5, is it?
I think it is.
No, you're running down a Guardian at one point, but there's like a weird snowy planet that you're on, which it's a Forerunner built planet because of the fact that it has a monitor.
Yeah. I can't remember.
I forget the name of that monitor, by the way. I liked her character. She was fun.
I don't remember. Like, it probably because of how I crunched it all into such a short period of time, but I just don't remember it much.
Yeah, towards the end of that, there's a scene where Cortana basically forms the new covenant, where she literally broadcasts to every species in the known universe and basically says, join me or die. And as we have seen from potentially not supposed to go up descriptions of the game and like foreign GameStop and Walmart descriptions, Cortana's leading the new covenant. We might see the return of the prophets because she directly calls out the prophet species, which, as some of us know, there are two of them. There's like a warrior race, and then there's the ones that became like politicians for the covenant that basically were like, look at this religion, even though they knew for like years before the human covenant war started that their entire religion was bullshit.
Yeah.
They ran into mendicant bias.
It's all bullshit.
Fucking Alan Moore is the... Alan Moore should be a fucking prophet, man.
That'd be pretty funny.
Yeah, also, I know a lot of people are like, are we going to see mendicant bias in the game? And I don't think so, because as far as I remember from lore, he was last seen on the Greater Arc, which is where Halo 2 takes place. Not Halo 2, Halo Wars 2 takes place. So it'd be weird for a thing that could appear in like a Halo Wars thing to just appear in the main game with no sort of
context.
Yeah, though, if I'm remembering correctly, the thing that the prophets and the thing that went to the Greater Arc, it's a segment or like a fragment of mendicant bias's thing, because similar to Cortana, AI can just go anywhere that has a data connection.
Yeah.
And as far as we know, the Installation 07 is where mendicant bias was created, so his main housing is on Installation 07.
Yeah.
Also, I think it was Hidden Xperia, a YouTube Halo lore guy, brought up the idea of going to the place where it wasn't the Didact, the other Forerunner during that trilogy, tortured humans and experimented on them.
Yeah.
We should go there. I think it's really called like the House of Torture or whatever. Let me Google that.
I like it.
Especially because like it'd be like a really cool place to explore. It'd be really interesting from a lore standpoint to see where the Forerunners just experimented on humans, like literally dissected them alive.
Yeah.
Even like, especially because like it does tie into the flood, which I kind of think are gonna come back, maybe.
Oh, most likely.
Though it would be weird because they've said that even if you're on a Halo ring, when it goes off, you're fucked. So the flood samples that were on the Halo rings would probably still be destroyed. But you could probably retcon in something like, even when a writer says something outside of the thing, I still don't consider it canon until is featured in there. Like if I wrote like a book, it was like, oh yeah, no, it was all a dream the whole time, and then the next book is like, no, it fucking wasn't. That's what's canon, in my opinion.
The thing is, the Forerunners have activated the Halo rings before.
Yes.
And the Flood still survived because they were on the rings.
That does make sense, but also the Bungie writers did not write the books. That's one of the reasons why Halo Reach contradicts the Fall of Reach, because Bungie didn't want people messing with their canon, despite the fact that they allowed a bunch of writers to make really badass books.
Yeah, especially Eric Nyland. Love that guy.
So, like, I'm still Googling what the hell the House of Pain was.
The House of Pain. I think we should probably wrap this up soon. So
it was called the Palace of Pain.
Palace of Pain.
And it was called that because for those of you who don't know, there was a point where the Flood spores were choosing back when the Forerunners were like the Flood's main target because they were the precursors. The Flood were like a big threat, but they were choosing intentionally to not infect humans to sort of mate, and then because that the Foreigners like, hey, these humans are immune, let's find out why, and they like tortured and dissected humans and like this palace, and like even after like the fucking Primordial showed up on Installation 07 and they were like, oh yeah, no, that was entirely bullshit, but you, I think it was like the Master Builder or whatever the fuck it was, Emmett from the Lego movie, he was there. My new headcanon, the Forerunners are just giant Lego builders.
Yeah.
But it was like, no, you're gonna sit here and you're just gonna keep torturing humans because you like it. Because you're a fucked up individual on the inside, and they drove him insane. It was great. It'd be cool to see that.
Yeah.
It'd be pretty fucking cool. I don't think we're gonna see any precursors or the Primordial, but it'd be pretty cool to see that. It'd be pretty cool to see the Flood. I know Hidden Experia brought up one other thing that I want to bring up before we wrap this up, because this is an image I want to see, and I didn't realize I wanted to see it until that. If they do decide to go open world, or no matter, like, even if they don't, I want a mission that takes place on the edge of a Halo ring, so you can literally look down over the edge.
That would be cool.
That'd be a badass view. Just look down over the edge or look up over the edge and just see the space. Because, like, for all the Halo rings, despite the fact, like, you are on a ring, you don't really get that perspective because, like, basically it just looks like a planet with, like, a slight tilt in the distance that you never really get to interact with. But if you can go to the edge, it's like, that's fucking cool. It'd be pretty swell.
That would be pretty rad.
That's our tangent-filled discussion about the Halo things.
Well, I got one more question for you.
Okay.
Just to wrap this up, what's your favorite Halo game?
Halo Reach, boyo. It was my first, and as I said earlier, you never forget your first time.
Fair enough.
Except typically, as far as I know, your first time is very rarely your favorite time.
It's true.
I'll take your word for it, buddy. I wouldn't know. I'm a baby boy.
Well, I mean, Halo 1 isn't my favorite.
Oh. I thought we were continuing the whole sex thing, but okay.
No.
Darn it.
No.
Be dirty for a second, Forrest.
No, thanks. I'm good. I would probably say for me, it's Halo 3. And I wanted to say... I may cheat a little bit here and say also by extension Halo ODST.
Oh, Halo ODST. I feel that'd count because didn't it really start off as an expansion and then Microsoft was like, okay, yeah, you guys can leave if you make us 2 more games.
Yeah, and then Bungie was like, okay, so instead of making an expansion, we're just going to make that a full game.
And it was a fantastic game.
It was, but it's still technically part of Halo 3.
Yeah. I want to see Halo ODST too, though. I actually know Bad Blood, the book that just released this week, is about Buck getting together his ODST squad.
Love me
who are
some
all
Buff.
Spartans now.
Oh,
And
nice.
it takes place after Halo 5, so it's our first look into what the world looks like after Cortana takes over.
Cool.
As they're calling it, the era of the created. Because it's all run by AI, because the AI are like, fuck you, humans. Cortana's a sexy blueberry.
What a good way to describe her. But yeah, favorite Halo game, definitely Halo 3 for sure. You know what, I'm not gonna cheat. I'll consider ODST its own separate thing. Um, with huge similarities and large overlap, but ultimately it's a different product. So I'd say Halo 3 is probably mine. I think it's definitely the one that I'd played the most of, and the one that I have a lot more memories of, and a lot more late night, and just staying up till like 4 in the morning, just laughing my butt off, but having to be real quiet about it because everyone else was asleep.
Yeah.
Just crazy night and days flying by like they're only 5 minutes long, just from the amount of joy and fun that I was having playing Halo 3. Like I I just like that. I think that game is definitely my favorite in the series, but also probably one of my favorite games of all time. I can't force myself to rank my favorite games of all time,
Or could I? I have
but
a clear list of games that are my favorite, but the way,
but
like, I have a where it's like these are the 5 games that are my favorite,
in no
but they're in no
specific
particular
order.
order. They're
Exactly.
all my favorites for different reasons. I can
Yeah,
rank my
and they're
favorite
not
shooter games,
comparable. Yeah, like I can compare my favorite shooter
but
games,
when it's
no
just your favorite
problem.
games, like that spans like genres. Like some might be an RPG, FPS
Yeah,
game, third-person shooter, adventure game,
side-scrolling
story
action
game,
games,
oh,
like
basically a walking simulator like Stanley's Parable. It can be
yeah,
anything, and you can't compare genres.
and people
Like,
will anyways.
yeah, people will anyway, and that's fine. No, like, not to like offend anybody who's like, well, I have a clear favorite game, and here's why. But like, for me, it's just like it's much harder to compare things within a genre
Yeah,
when the genres are different. Where it's like, sure, Spider-Man 2 for the PS2 and Star Wars Battlefront 2 and Halo Reach are also my favorite games, but I couldn't put them in order because one is different from the others. Anyway, follow Forrest on Twitter at sax_daddy.
and you can follow Brandon on Twitter at Brandovader.
And don't forget to hit subscribe, and hopefully you will be seeing us eventually because we're doing that whole not movie thing, the script thing.
Script thing, not just
Yeah,
movies, hopefully comics as well,
yeah,
which I'm
gotta find a way to get some scripts for the comic books without
yeah,
having to just pull them out of the back.
yeah,
Which I guess like after this we can discuss the formatting for that because I didn't actually think of how we would do that because scripts can get long.
neither.
Anyway,
It's true.
hit
I was
subscribe, hit the
thinking,
bell,
yeah,
and
do all that
we will
jazz and listen to some
do all
jazz.
the jazz. Listen to jazz. Go find a way to find audio from one of Forrest's things because he plays
You like
saxophone.
jazz?
Listen to Forrest play saxophone. I don't know how you're gonna do it.
Please don't. I'm
Stalk
not.
him.
There's so many bad
It's
people to listen to.